What happened with life? It goes by so quickly. What happened? What the hell happened? We smash. We deliver. We move. We even make things sensible. I mean, what the hell happened to ourselves in this life? She makes you want to think, what the hell happened? Everything is in circles. Everything is in circles. Everything's in circles. Everything's just in cycles. You more, you do more, you do more, you do more, you do more. And it's just an ever ending cycle. It's never ending the cycle that you put in. It's never ending the cycle what you put in. Welcome again to the Famous Art Show Live. I'm going to talk about art tribes. I know it's late. It's about 1:41 a.m. I got off of work. A lot of things came to mind. And it just dawned on me, so many artists out there, so many connections that we have on our daily life that spawns this question, are we alone as artists? Or are we a part of a group of artists? It's a little of both. We have this notion that we put all these hours into painting, drawing, whatever medium you work in. I'm going to say hello to everybody. This is basically a discussion about how we artists are a community, how we artists are out here supporting one another, but yet again, lonely in the studio producing these masterful pieces of work, or trying to figure out or resolve a problem in a visual nature using traditional mediums. Reserve the questions because this also, I'm going to talk about a little bit of some of the experiences that I've been through about this topic, art tribe, per se. I just got home from work. Wow, had a nice conversation with somebody I don't know. I see this person every day, well, almost every day. He does the same work I do, but he works in another facility. And what's interesting, we are actually moving in circles in our minds. We are actually traveling wherever our creative bump might be. And then we go to our place of creation, the studio per se, where we actually create this work and we actually think and say, what happened to us today? What did we do today? What is that wonderful mindset that makes us these creative folks, that scares and entices? I mean, we're theatrical in many ways, but we put them on paper, on canvases, and even sculpt them, film them, however your discipline is out there. And sometimes we question ourselves, saying, how do we do this? You know, it's just one of those things that you have to really think about. Even at this early hour, late hour, however this day is to you. But I feel that we're always communicating through what we express on the walls after the fact. After the fact, meaning having the work hung professionally, shown, and your entire life, you're showing it to the public. Right now, I'm talking to a community of artists around the world. Okay. We think about the literature. We think about the very media we watch, the television shows even. For example, Game of Thrones. Throw that one out there. Endgame, Marvel. These particular outlets have a strong influence to artists that are sensitive to that particular topic. Everybody has a specific topic that's not exactly what I had said. but it does show up in our work. It could be a little mark on the side of the page, or a tremendous tribute to what is being put out there from the creative folks that are actually putting these images or sounds or films or paintings, drawings, however it's presented. The tribe of artists that I'm speaking about is us. It starts in the studio. It starts with the idea. It starts with the sketchbook. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the studio. Studio's outside too, when you have your sketchbook out there, drawing, drinking, doing whatever, socializing. Then again, you have the other person that's going to introduce themselves. Yeah, I draw too. Then you mix your minds. You mix the ideas. You say, wow, we have something in common. It's like traveling. You meet somebody going to a certain destination. That's the destination they're going. You're going. That's the only thing you're going to talk about until you reach that destination. Then you're on your own. Unless that person has something in common with you, then you proceed. The destination turns into something else. Could be anything. Same thing with art. The tribe that I'm speaking about is the personalities that show up in the work that we present. When you really think about this stuff, you'll be like, whoa, I'm not alone doing this. That's why when I said prior in the other shows, we are documenting and we are actually extending our voices, but through a visual language that everybody understands. Have you ever gone to a place and thought to yourself and say, whoa, I'm really doing this by myself. I'm really having this stuff that's bothering me. All that stuff that's bottled up. You just put it down on that piece of paper, paint it out. However, you're just letting it all in there. But what you don't realize, all of that tension, all of that aggression, all of that love, all of that kindness, all of that literature, all of that knowledge is being observed by somebody else. And they're going to have an interpretation of it no matter what. That's the beautiful thing about this visual language we put out there. They also become a part of that art tribe. You got your audience, you got the shows, you got your work up there. You either with artists or you have a solo show. People are going to commune and actually give you a response to those images that have been created by you, or a collective have created an image to reserve a response for the audience out there. We're the ones out there, amongst many, that have their own particular way of thinking, or a collective way of thinking that becomes one unit, or we're the one unit for the collective way of thinking. It's a no-brainer. Art is life. Everything that we put on, the fabrics, the design of the environment you live in, the vehicles you drive, the very nature of the trees, the plants, the water, the sea. Think about it. We either copy that or we copy within ourselves. That's translated to a personal image to be a reactionary force for somebody to say, hey, where did this come from? I'll give you an example. You're walking barefoot and in the street, and then you step on a piece of glass. Ouch! You're gonna go, ouch! When you see a wonderful piece of artwork or a work that's disturbing, the same response visually. You're gonna be, ouch! That's really good. Well, that's really bad. However, the response is, that is what these creative folk do. And this is part of that collective thought of being an artist. I learned not to be afraid to talk to the entire world of what we are as people, to actually put this wonderful markings, pieces of paper, canvases, however we do it, It's not something to explain, it's something to experience. It's something to actually say, man, you question, how do you do that? But then again, you can't do that because that's your individual voice. That's your own voice. You can copy that all you like, but you won't be able to reproduce it. That is something that we all have individually as creative units. But we all speak to each other as creative units, as one studio to the next house, to the next gallery, however you look at it. That's the wonderful thing about being a part of a tribe of artists. There is no difference between a community and a tribe because they do the same thing. There's no difference between a painter and a sculptor because they do the same thing, but it's spread across mediums. Remember, mediums is what we work with. Some work with the visual medium, meaning the film, the photography. You have the traditional medium with the paintbrush and the oil paints, the acrylics, the pencils, you name it. But it's how we translate this tribe and make it work and explain ourselves to the world what this is about. I'm going to leave you with this one thought, because I like to keep these live sessions short for that reason alone. I have one message out there. We're part of a tribe, a global tribe of artists. My question is, why do we do this? How do we do this is another added to the question. That's something you have to answer for yourself. I can only express what happened to me today, what happened to you as well when we speak in person of our experiences, but also how that translates into that creative objective that we have out there. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this art tribe, this little spontaneous moment I had, this little inspiration I had just from a conversation on my way home with somebody who has similar experiences like me. Thank you. I love you all. Until the next live art show. Famous art show. We're all famous. We're all alive. Good night. Good morning, however it is in whatever part of your world. Your favorite host, Juan Gomez. Good night.